Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video. Today is another Vinyl Community Friday video, and today's video I'm so excited for because I've put so much planning into this one. It's definitely taken me a long time, definitely the longest preparation for a video I've ever done, apart from my beginner's guide videos. They take a long time to kind of compile, but as for vinyl community videos, this is definitely the one that's taken me the longest. So I have created my very own vinyl tag, and it is just called the Prog Nerd Vinyl Tag 2021. So if you wish to participate, please go ahead. I would love to see what you guys come up with for these questions. All the questions or prompts or whatever will be in the description, so you can look at them while I go along. So yeah, it's just a bit of fun. Everything is to do with prog. I mean, if you want to interpret it and just do non-progressive rock albums, absolutely go ahead. I'm more than happy for people to do that. But this one is mainly just got progressive rock undertones to it because a lot of the questions just relate back to progressive rock. So if you are going to do this tag, just title it the Prog Nerd Vinyl Tag 2021 so I can find it easier and I can take a look at your videos, because I'm looking forward to doing this so I can see a lot of you guys' responses. I think that's something that will make me very happy to see. And I love doing the vinyl tags personally, so I thought I'd just create my own. I kind of followed along with my fellow vinyl community members floating around here on YouTube, so you've all inspired me to make my own. So let's just begin. I'm very eager to start now. So the first prompt is an 80s prog album from an 80s prog band, a band that started in the 80s, essentially. My pick is the safe choice, really. Marillion started in the 80s. This is Fugazi. This is part of the little clump of Fish era Marillion albums. Such a great album. If you have not listened to Marillion yet, what are you doing? Please just give them a listen. They are very, very good. So the second prompt is an album from a band with only 3 members. So basically an album from a 3-piece group. My choice is obviously going to be an Emerson, Lake and Palmer album, but I just decided to pick Trilogy. I could have picked Tarkus, but this one has all 3 of them on the front, and it's probably one of my favourite ELP albums at the moment. I'm listening to it a lot. I mean, I haven't actually listened to ELP in a little while now, so I'm going to go back and do that. But this is a fantastic album by a fantastic 3-piece supergroup. More on 3-piece bands coming very soon. So, number 3, a Canterbury Scene record. First one in my sight was Caravan in the Land of Grey and Pink. I had Soft Machine in front of me. I just realised that, but I'm just going to pick this one because it is a wonder. I'm going to pick this one because it is a wonderful album. It is very, very good. Big fan of the Canterbury Scene in general. I mean, I did a video on it. If you haven't seen it yet, you can check my channel. It's like around the middle area. But they are a great band and very, very, very good album. So, point number 4, an impulse buy. So, when it comes to impulse buying for me, I usually tend to steer towards bands that I already know and pick up albums that I'm not familiar with. So, for example, recently I picked up a Mike Oldfield album that I didn't know anything about and listened to it and loved it. So, I'm going to pick a different example. I'm going to go with Focus Hamburger Concerto. I have listened to one Focus album in my day, and that is Moving Waves. It's a fantastic album. I've listened to bits of Focus 3. So I just picked up this one because I had seen you guys talking about it in the comments, and I just was like, alright, fine, I'll get it. And it was not too expensive either, so I just decided to pick it up. And it is a fantastic album. So point number 5, an album that people wouldn't suspect that you own or people wouldn't think that you'd have. For me, it took me a while. I had to consult Johan about this one because a lot of my collection just makes sense. But I thought of this one. This is the Minecraft soundtrack. Probably one of my favourite video games ever. I'm a child at heart. Grew up with this video game. I've loved it for so long, ever since. It's just, I have such good memories with this game, and I think a lot of you guys out there who are probably around the same age as me will also agree. I mean, I was playing Minecraft back when it wasn't even available on Xbox. You know, I've been playing it for years. So I got the soundtrack because I found out that there was a vinyl version, and I was like, I just need this. So my life isn't complete without this. So this is just a fun record that I've got. It's so great. The Minecraft soundtrack is fantastic. It's very calming, very soothing, very beautiful. And it's associated with my childhood, really. A big chunk of my life. So this is the Minecraft soundtrack, and the person who created the Minecraft soundtrack, C418. So this is good. And this is on green vinyl, so this is very fun. Number 6. an album with really great keyboards work. Now, this one, I could have picked so many albums, but I'm going to pick one that's very relevant to me right now. I'm going with Going for the One by Yes. I'm really, really into this album lately. I've kind of dug my way through that early Yes up until Relayer era, and now I'm kind of moving forward from there and listening to things like Going for the One. So, if you're not familiar, Rick Wakeman had rejoined Yes for this album. I mean, Patrick Moraz was on Relayer, and then he left, and Rick Wakeman came back. This has got some of the best keyboards work I think I've ever heard. It's up there with Close to the Edge for me, and that is one of my all-time favourite albums. It's my favourite Yes album. But this, just the end track, Awaken, that middle section of just Rick Wakeman's like organ and just ambience, I think I cried one of the first times I heard that, because I just thought music just can't get much better than this. So this is Going for the One by Yes. This is a strong recommend from me. I might actually talk about this in a video one day, because I could go on for hours how much I love this. You know, it's got the title track Going for the One, Wondrous Stories, Turn of the Century. It's got so much great stuff on it, and of course Awaken, which concludes the album. So this is Going for the One. Point number 7, an album by a non-progressive rock band that made a proggy album. So this could be up for interpretation, so it's basically what you consider prog from a certain band's catalogue, but this band has to be a non-progressive rock band. So I'm going to pick OK Computer by Radiohead. This is an album that I've known pretty much since as long as I can remember. This is a very good album to talk about, because it's not strictly a progressive rock album, but it's got that undertone of progressive rock. I mean, a little bit of trivia for you guys out there. Radiohead were actually listening to a lot of the band called Can. If you know them, you will, because this is a prog channel. German progressive rock band, very experimental, very out there. They were listening to a lot of them while this album was being kind of written. And you can hear it in the music. I mean, Paranoid Android's a like 6-7 minute long track that's got lots of sections in it. I mean, it's very progressive rock in that sense. So I'm picking OK Computer. This is one of my favourite albums ever, really. So, prompt number 8, the album that got you into progressive rock. Now, I could have started with that prompt, but I thought I'd just put it in a little bit later. So for me, it was 2112 by Rush. This is the Deluxe Edition cover. Sadly, I have now sold on my copy with the original cover, but this is great. So this album got me into progressive rock, and I will tell you the story. So I was really big into Dream Theater at the time of me about to get into prog, and I had no idea that they were classified as a progressive metal band. I just knew them as a funky metal band. Like, they were just kind of unique and different and had a lot more to offer. They had keyboards and stuff like that, so I never really listened to that kind of stuff in metal, so I didn't really know what to call it. And around that time, I had rewatched School of Rock, which was like a childhood film for me, and Jack Black gives one of the kids, I think it's the kid that's the drummer, the album 2112, and I was like, oh, that's a cool looking cover, because all the albums he gave to all the other kids I was familiar with. I mean, even Fragile at that point. And I was like, I've never heard of this album. What is this album? It looks really cool. And he was talking about the drumming on it as well. And then I found out that Dream Theater, one of their biggest influences, are Rush. So I was like, okay, so everyone's rating Rush so highly, so I'm gonna give this album a listen. And it's one of my favourite albums ever. It got me into progressive rock properly. It really helped me explore the genre a lot more, into bands like Yes and Genesis and all that kind of stuff. And then from there, things like Gentle Giant and Van der Graaf Generator and all that stuff. So I have 2112 to thank for me getting into all these albums. So this is Rush's 2112, a absolutely stunning album. So prompt number 9. Pick an album from a discography of 5 or less albums. Now, let me just quickly explain this one, because this is confusing and it took me a long time to word it properly. So just pick any band. If you can't think of a progressive rock one, that's totally fine. But just a band that has only released 5 or less albums. So I'm going to go with Tool, who only actually have 5 albums, and I'm picking 10,000 Days because this is one of my favourite albums of theirs. and the best one to demonstrate and the best one for people to listen to if they want to get into Tool, in my humble opinion. It's got everything on it, you know, it's got the proggy aspects, it's got psychedelic aspects, it's got metal aspects, it's got everything that one would love. So this is Tool 10,000 Days. Okay, so prompt number 10, an album that you have to crank the volume all the way up to listen to. I'm picking Meddle by Pink Floyd, because simply for the first track. I mean, every time me and my dad are in the car and we're listening to One of These Days, we're always turning up the volume to 11. And I mean, this whole album is so good. And Echoes, obviously I'm listening to that really loudly all the time, you know. But this is a great one to crank. I know I could have picked absolutely anything from my metal pile over here in the corner. But we are talking about progressive rock, so I'm going with Pink Floyd's Meddle. So prompt number 11, chill out record. So something you'd put on if you want to just chill out for the evening or during the day, whatever. I'm going with the Fripp and Eno collaboration album, No Pussyfooting. I'm talking about this an awful lot lately, purely because it's just so genius and just so amazing. This one, it's just very ambient, very beautiful, atmospheric, and just outstanding. I really urge you to listen to this if you haven't yet. It is just the most amazing experience ever. I remember hearing it on Spotify and I was like, this is not doing the album justice. I need to hear it on vinyl. And when I got it, it just changed everything for me. I sat in the front room with my dad and we listened to the whole of this album and we were just in awe of how amazing this collaboration is. I mean, you're taking two of the most amazing musicians and making an album out of it. So I really suggest this one, and obviously the production is outstanding. So definitely give this one a try if you want to look for something that's more relaxing. Anything you know about King Crimson, just throw it out the window for this album, because it is very, very different to King Crimson. It's very, very relaxing, very calming, whereas King Crimson's very, you know, very, very good, but it's not something that I would listen to chill out. Yeah, so this is No Pussyfooting. So prompt number 12, an album that you listen to when you're angry or not in the best of moods. For me, it's anything by Rammstein will help me out a lot, because it's really great, loud, thundering arena rock / metal music. It's loud, it's angry, it's great, and I love it so much. I know, high distortion on the guitars and everything like that, thunderous bass lines and really loud crashing drums, and that is Rammstein. I'm a huge Rammstein fan, so that is my pick for this one. Prompt number 13, some may say that number is unlucky. An album that you have more than one copy of. Well, this isn't, again, progressive rock, because some of them were just a bit too hard to answer for progressive rock. But I have got more than one copy of News of the World. I've got this one, which is from the Queen Studio Collection box set. And I've also got this one, which is a very early pressing of News of the World. And I've also got this, which isn't a studio album, it's not the same, but I thought it was worth mentioning. I got this in Brighton. This is the News of the World, just a whole album in concert, and it's a Japanese kind of bootleg thing. So I thought this was worth mentioning because they play all the songs on the album, but it's not the studio versions. But this is my favourite Queen album, and it explains why I've got more than one copy of it. And yeah, I don't think we have many others that we've got more than one copy of. I think we've got more than one copy of the first Emerson, Lake and Palmer album, but I thought this one was a bit more fun to mention. Prompt number 14, an instrumental album. I've got plenty of those, but today I'm going to talk about the Snow Goose by Camel. I was going to pick Tubular Bells, but I've talked about that a lot on my channel. Camel are fairly new to me. I mean, I've known about them throughout knowing progressive rock, but I haven't really gotten down to listening to a lot of their material yet. I've listened to Mirage and Moon Madness, which is my current favourite album of theirs, and I've listened to this one as well, and this is absolutely amazing. It's one of the most beautiful pieces of music I've ever heard. It's also a concept about, well, it's written basically similar to Six Wives of Henry VIII by Wakeman. It's like music to history almost, basically, but it's more like music to a novel, which is what this is. The Snow Goose is a novel. and it is just so beautifully written, and it's amazing. So I highly recommend this one, and this is my choice for instrumental album. So prompt number 15, an album by a band that disappointed you. So if there's a band out there that you really like and they made an album that you didn't like, show it off. My pick is going to be Works Volume 2 by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. This album isn't completely awful. However, when I listened to Works Volume 1, I expected this album to be just as good, and it's not, sadly. It's alright, it's got some good songs, but overall it wasn't really my favourite. I mean, the obvious choice would be Love Beach, because, you know, it's just bad. But I just had to... I think this one was the only one that I could actually think of that I didn't really like that much, that I actually own, because usually I don't really own anything that I don't really like. I mean, at first I liked it, and then I kind of realised this isn't as good as I think it is. So, like, it's alright, it's got some songs. I haven't listened to this in a while because I've just not been bothered to listen to it. It's in no way the same league as Tarkus and Trilogy and the first album, Brain Salad Surgery, as well. But it has got good songs. I mean, it's got the Christmas song, which is very nice as well. Tiger in the Spotlight is good as well. But overall, this album didn't really catch my attention. Prompt number 16. This one's going to be kind of interesting. An album that you think sounds better on CD than vinyl. Now, for this one, this might be a shock, but I'm going to go with Red by King Crimson, because the mix from this CD, which is from the Road to Red box set, sounds phenomenal. I mean, absolutely amazing. It's got bits in it that aren't really included on the vinyl. It's just a completely different mix, and I just think it sounds a lot better than the mix that I've got currently, which is from the 72 to 74 box set. This one just sounds miles better, and I really love it. It's got, I mean, when I was listening to Starless with this copy for the first time, I was like, wait, I didn't notice that in the vinyl before, or I didn't notice that before. Oh wait, it's not in that. This is just new to me. And it's just fantastic. So definitely pick this one up. This box set is very, very good. Lots of rarities and everything on it. Prompt number 17, a new discovery for you. So that could mean something that's new to you. It might not necessarily have been released in the past 10 or so years, but something that's very new to you. And for me, that is Uriah Heep. And now you can see me through the mirror. So this is the album Look at Yourself. A lot of you guys have really been recommending this band to me. I don't know if you can see in the background, I got the 50 Years in Rock box set, which if you want me to talk about, I'm more than happy to. I loved this album from beginning to end. I thought it was fantastic, and so this band is very new to me at the moment, and hopefully I'm gonna get more into their discography. I really like what they got going. Definitely in the same category as like Deep Purple, which is like hard rock plus like an organ, basically. But I love it a lot, and it's definitely got progressive rock undertones to it. Prompt number 18, an album that you just had to buy the deluxe edition for. And for me, I'm going with the Aerosol Grey Machine by Van der Graaf Generator. This is one of their first albums. I believe it is their first album. This was at the end of the 60s as well. This is the deluxe edition of the album. It's a fantastic album. I'm a big Van der Graaf Generator fan myself. This has got not just the album on vinyl, it's also got the CDs, and it's got a book and everything in it. So that constitutes for a deluxe edition. So number 19. Now this one's going to get a little bit more interesting, a little bit different, and a bit more challenging for you guys out there. So whereas for the rest of them you just got to pick one album for each prompt, this one I'd like you guys to pick two for this one. So the prompt is pick a triple album, and I would like you guys to pick out a studio album that's a triple album, and also a live album that's a triple album. So for my live album, I'm going with Yes Songs. That is just the easy choice, really. It's a triple album, fantastic live album. And for my studio album, you probably would guess this by now, maybe not. I'm going with George Harrison's All Things Must Pass. This is such a fantastic album. I know it's not prog, but it is very, very, very good. And I'm a big George Harrison fan myself. It's my favourite member of the Beatles. So I challenge you guys to try and find out another triple studio album for me, because I was very lost for this one, and that is the only one I could think of. So I thought it'd be a bit more fun. So point number 20, an album that you think has the best bass sound possible. For me, I'm going with Lateralis by Tool. I still to this day don't know which way to hold this, but I'll hold it this way. This album's got some of the best bass sound I've ever heard. It's chunky and it's prominent and I absolutely love it. I mean, songs that would display this. Songs that show this off include Schism, Reflection, The Grudge, the first track on the album. There's so much great content on this album that's very bassy. For all you bass fans out there, this is the album for you. So this is Lateralis by Tool. So I don't have props for this next one. So prompt number 21, an album that you have pre-ordered already this year. For me, I have pre-ordered the new freehand Steven Wilson remix by Gentle Giant, which is coming out in a week or so now. I pre-ordered that last week, so that's one I am currently waiting for. I'm a big fan of that album at the moment. I've listened to it so much recently, so I wanted to have that one mixed by Steven Wilson because I trust his mixing abilities. I mean, he did the Yes remix box set, which sounds fantastic, and I know he's done a lot of other ones as well, and they just sound absolutely amazing. I mean, he's done some of the Jethro Tull ones as well. So just any album that you are waiting for at the moment that you've pre-ordered. So prompt number 22, the first album you ever bought. This can be prog or non-prog, whatever. Sadly, I do not have the first album that I ever bought anymore. It's now onto a new owner, but the first ever album I bought was Sempiternal by Bring Me the Horizon. That is the album that started off my vinyl collection about 4 or 5 years ago now. And yeah, I don't have it anymore. I'm not really big into that kind of music anymore, but at the time I was. Maybe I should have kept it for sentimental reasons, but I just fell out of love with it, really. I don't really like it all that much as I used to, but it's alright. And the very last prompt for you guys today, and I applaud you guys who have made it this far into the video, an album by a band that more people should know about. So what band do you think more people should be aware of? For me, I've mentioned this band before and how criminally underrated they are. Gracious. They are an English progressive rock group of the early 70s. They only made 2 or 3 albums, I think. They are fantastic. They are amazing. They've got a very lovely keyboard sound going on. It's just absolutely beautiful. So I recommend this album to all you prog fans out there who have not heard of this album. Go ahead and just get it. Listen to it. It's available on Spotify and everything. It's just absolutely wonderful. And if you can, just invest in it. It's worth getting. So if you're still here, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope you participate because I spent a very long time thinking of all the questions and prompts I wanted to do for this tag. It took me a while. I didn't want to copy anyone or anything, and I tried my hardest not to. There might be some overlays in some other people's as well, but if you can, definitely give this tag a try. I had a lot of fun creating it. Just if you're going to make a video, just tag it under ProgNerdVinyl Tag 2021 and I will take a look at it. And yeah, all the prompts will be in the description so that you can follow them and you won't need to keep stopping and starting through my video. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Saturdays with Dad. Bye!